Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join me for another transfer update. This is transfer update number 7 in these videos. We look at the deals going in and out of the Championship, mainly the big deals, but we try and touch on as much as we can. And I'm going to give my thoughts on the selling club, the buying club, the player, is it a good deal, etc., etc. We are recording just before 9 a.m. on Tuesday the 26th. For those of you who like to tell me I've missed something out when it hasn't yet happened, these are only done deals. They need to be confirmed normally by a club website, and then I will be talking about it. We know there's a couple in the works that will probably be over the line by the time you watch this. However, they'll be in the next video. Again, we're not interested in debating undisclosed fees or rumours, just done deals. Here they come. Dwayne Holmes from Derby to Huddersfield. I quite like Dwayne Holmes. I think he's always been a good sort of little ball of energy, but skillful player as well. Could play him as a number 10, could play him sort of wide, good passer, certainly good at carrying the ball as well, which would bode well for Huddersfield and Carlos Corberan. He's been there before, sort of came through at Huddersfield and then went off to Scunthorpe, and found his way to Derby. Maybe Rooney doesn't fancy him. I'm not entirely sure about maybe contract expiring or something, so a deal had to be done. But this is certainly a good deal for Huddersfield. Like I said, they play this 4-3-3, kind of very flowing football with fullbacks forward and through the thirds, and lots of running and quick passing as we'd expect with Corberan, a Bielsa sort of disciple. So looks like a fairly good fit. We could talk about money problems at Derby, but that would involve me talking about a takeover that hasn't yet happened, which I'm fed up of talking about because it hasn't yet happened. So we won't talk about that, but it could be a little bit less strain on the Derby wage bill, or some money freed up from the wage bill that Wayne Rooney can use. So I suspect this is probably a better deal for Huddersfield than Derby, especially at this time of the season. Derby probably could have just done with keeping him around to the end of the season, but it's a done deal. Dwayne Holmes to Huddersfield. Get your thoughts in the comments. Next up, Filip Kravinovic, Benfica to Forest. So we are very familiar with Filip Kravinovic because he went on loan to West Brom, who were promoted from the Championship last season. And then he re-signed again on loan this season. However, management changed there, one league higher, sort of Conor Gallagher being brought in, and now Snodgrass and Allardyce is there, and Kravinovic is just not a fit. And if Big Sam obviously wants to free up places in his squad, it's easy to just cut a loan short. So Kravinovic has gone in at Forest. Now, apologies to Forest fans, but we just always say it's a big, bloated squad that needs organising. There are players going out. However, do they need Filip Kravinovic? He's a good player. I mean, you always need good players. We've seen him play as a number 10 for West Brom. Basically, anywhere along that three across the behind the front going a 4-2-3-1. We've also seen him actually play as a deep line playmaker on his own in the Premier League this season and in a double pivot. So he's a versatile guy who can play in any of those 5 midfield positions in a 4-2-3-1. It's only a good signing, though, if Forest do organise the squad a little bit more than it is at the moment. It just feels like they've just got a ton of players that need a direction, either a loan out or a place in the team, or, you know, to be sold or told that, exactly what's happening. So, yes, it's a good player in, but context is king here, and we'd hope a bit more sort of squad streamlining would be done to make this make more sense. when has Forest's incomings and outgoings ever made sense over the past few years? By the end of the transfer window, that would be my view. Get your views in the comments. Kravinovic to Forest. Raheem Harper has gone on loan from West Brom to Birmingham. So another case of Big Sam making space in his squad, perhaps to make his survival charge over the rest of the season. Harper was definitely, we just talked about Kravinovic, definitely a few places below Kravinovic in the pecking order, Young guy, 20 years old. I've seen him a few times. It was just always off the bench at the end of games. I think he's sort of right central midfield. So he joins Jonathan Lecco, who obviously went from West Brom to Birmingham at the start of the season. When we talk about one of the other deals, we're talking Mike Kieftenbeld later in the video, we'll know why they needed a body in there. So it interests me that Harper is more a Karanka player than Kieftenbeld is. I thought that would be around the other way. But presumably this has been identified. And I suppose it's a young player. I don't know whether there's any first refusal if they do want to buy him at the end of the deal. So I'm a bit thumbs in the middle on this one because he's not a player who is proven in the Championship like perhaps Kravinovic, who had performed at a high level there in terms of a starter. But there's definite potential there, and like I say, presumably he's been identified for a reason, and there is that need when we talk about Kieftenbeld to fill a position there. Bit more thumbs in the middle on that one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Harper to Birmingham. And there he is. Michael Kieftenbeld, who has gone to Millwall, 30 years old, Dutchman. When the Millwall fans asked me, Ben, what's Kieftenbeld like? I said to them, last time Villa were in the Championship, I went to both the Villa Birmingham games, and this guy played centre midfield and absolutely kicked Jack Grealish into row Z within the first 3 minutes of both games because he knew he wasn't going to get booked. This guy is basically a bit of an S-house central midfielder, the type of guy you love when he's in your team, but you know when he's up against you that he's going to get away with a few tactical fouls and some clever skullduggery and dark arts in the middle there. I presume, someone will correct me in the comments, that he's been with Gary Rowett before. If it's 2015, he arrived at Birmingham. So in he goes to a central midfield picture where Millwall fans are not very high on Ryan Woods, and they tried to get Jay Mollenby, who's obviously gone off to Preston. So they needed a player in there, obviously two very different players there. But if at the moment Millwall kind of struggling to get things moving, you certainly know what you're going to get with Kieftenbeld, and he'll consistently do what you expect of him in those central midfield positions. Is he the second coming of Andrea Pirlo, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard? No, but at Championship level, very solid, and will certainly make your team harder to play against. Kieftenbeld to Millwall. Thoughts in the comments, please. Jordan Morris. Okay, I'll have to plead the fifth on this one. Don't know a lot about the player at all, so we'll read from the Swansea article there. He's a forward. I've said all season that Swansea need a forward because they've kind of got wingers and number 10s in Jamal Lowe and Andre Ayew converting and playing as forwards, doing a good job. But can they get a dedicated forward? They tried Gyökeres on loan from Brighton. That didn't work. He's now at Coventry on loan. 26 years old, 39 caps for the United States national team, 10 goals, decent, 35 goals in MLS, knows where the goal is. USA Gold Cup final winner against Jamaica, known for his pace. Morris will look, can play as a central forward or in wide areas. Is that another similar player to Ayew and Lowe? Well, look, if he's a similar player of similar ability, they'll be very happy. I just call me boring. I know I'm repeating myself. I just thought they needed a dedicated striker. This guy's a striker. He's not a winger. He's not a number 10. Doesn't do this, that, and the other. Scores goals. That's it. What was it you used to say about Ian Wright? Oh, Wrighty, you're terrible. All you do is score goals. You don't do anything else. That was the joke from the North Bank back in the day. Wear the number 11 shirt. And it wasn't available for the cup tie at the weekend. But big game tomorrow night. Swansea versus Brentford. That's going to be all over the channel. So I don't know the player. Could this be a beautiful, clever signing that makes a difference? Fingers crossed. You'd imagine no fee, a sort of loan, and where he's played in the past, it would be a really clever one if it did make a difference. But let's find out. And again, I don't know the player, so maybe I'll be sitting here in 3 months, like the Jeremy Bella signing for Birmingham. Didn't know anything about him. Free agent outside the window. Great signing. So it can happen. Let me know your thoughts if you know more about Jordan Morris, the United States player who's just signed for the high-flying Swans. By the way, we should mention Swansea also Hurahan in this window. So they have made moves, the Swans. Another club who's made moves, big moves, is Stoke. Another one in fourth signing, you can see there. Jack Clark, Reece Norrington-Davis, Rabbi Matondo. As Alfred Chris on the channel, who's always in the comments, says they're just signing loads and loads of wingers when they need a striker. Possibly, obviously, Norrington-Davis is a fullback. But remember, Stoke play 3 at the back and wing-backs. Matondo did play right wing-back. Jack Clark sort of played up front. I suppose Alfie Doughty, 21 years old from Charlton. I think we saw him a few times covering matches last season for Charlton. God, it all seems so long ago now. And he's another of, basically all of the good players from Lee Bowyer's team have had to go out. But hey, we know about how Charlton's been run over the years. So maybe it's a little bit different, whereas someone like Jack Clark or even Reece Norrington-Davis, Matondo, expected to perform now. Maybe Doughty more a project for the future. But will we see a striker go in at Stoke starting the last game with Nick Powell and Jack Clark? Neither of them are even forwards up top with Fletcher and Vokes on the bench. So, yes, good players. Stoke probably needs something else in the window because they're sinking a little bit away from the playoffs at the moment. I think 1 win in 8 or 9 or something. Get your thoughts in. Doughty to Stoke. Now, we predicted this one would happen. This is a bit of a grumpy statement from QPR as well. As soon as I saw that deal, you can check back in the last window, in the last video, that said, Bright Samuel, he signed a deal at the end of the season. He'll go at the end of the season, unless something's done in the meantime. It was fairly obvious something was going to be done. QPR have reached an acceptable agreement with Fenerbahce for the immediate transfer of Bright Samuel, subject to medical. He'd already agreed the pre-contract. So he's either gone on loan for the remainder of the season, or they've done a deal, probably a really low ball fee that QPR won't be pleased to announce. But hey, it's better than nothing. And the point you get where they've signed the pre-contract and they're still at the club. And I mean, Mark Warburton immediately stuck Willock in the team, Hammerlinen at left wing back, changed the system, building around Charlie Austin, who's returned now. It's kind of like, okay, Bright Samuel's really good, but unless you're third place trying to get second or something, and you just want that extra quality to get you over the line and then he can go, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? What's the point? So we predicted this would get done, and it has indeed got done. So Bright Samuel, thank you. He's been a great player. We've enjoyed watching him, but I'm sure QPR fans will prefer now, okay, off the wage bill, out the way. Probably, how can you be focused when you know you're going to be signing somewhere and you're not either challenging for a playoff? Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to just, I've got a bit of a knock this weekend, boss. It's be very easy to flounce your way through those last few months. That's not anything on Bright Samuel's character. I'm just saying, put anybody in that situation where, you're off somewhere else, you're having a new start. What's your motivation? What's my motivation? Hey? Sam Hutchison. Interesting one, this. Maybe it shows where Sheffield Wednesday are kind of business-wise, because essentially they've brought back a player that they recently released that had been there for ages and ages. So not much else in the way of Mr. Chansiri helping build this squad. Remember, Neil Thompson is currently in charge. Is he going to stay the manager? I don't know. There's no news there. Someone joked with me at the start of the window, oh, Wednesday will name a new manager when the window's closed and there'll be no business done. And I thought they were joking, but we're getting close now. What date are we? Tuesday the 26th of Jan. So we'll see. Hutchinson comes back. Vastly experienced 31-year-old. Bit of a walk-in yellow card. There was some idea as well that Westwood and Hutchinson, dare I say, were the ones that were moved on that had quite an influence. They're both back there. Well, Westwood never went anywhere, but Pulis brought him back in. Tricky at Sheffield Wednesday. It's a bit of a blah signing, isn't it? But what else is the option if there's no money? They've got someone who's familiar to the place, who comes straight in, familiar to the Championship, do a job. But I can understand Wednesday fans being less than excited, let's just say. But they and you, whoever you support, can give me your thoughts in the comments on that one. A few more just to wrap up, or we'll be here all day. These are some transfers out. Dervisoglu, Brentford to Galatasaray on loan. I guess means Godos has signed full-time now. I'm sure there'll be a recall clause in there, given how clever Brentford are with their business. Thibaut Verlinden, Stoke to Fortuna. It's another Stoke winger. Obviously, they've brought a load of players in. Michael O'Neill obviously doesn't fancy Verlinden, even though some Stoke fans I spoke to wanted him to get a chance. Out he goes. Zach Clough, where we spoke about Forest needing to organise. So out he goes to Wigan. Jaden Stockley from Preston to Charlton. Bit of a shame that, actually, because you always like to see a player step up from lower division, do the business, but Alex Neil just hasn't trusted any of those Preston forwards, has he? Not even Emil Rees is kind of nailed down, and we think there was a fair amount spent on him earlier in the season. Ched Evans has come in on loan and obviously taken Jaden Stockley's spot. Off he goes to League One. And Charlton, Stephen Walker, I think he was already at Crewe on loan. I think that's just an extension. That's an interesting one at the bottom. George Byers, Swansea to Pompey. I think George Byers is a good player. So it shows what Swansea have kind of got. And it's fairly obvious Hourihane in, Byers can then go out. Cooper considers Hourihane an upgrade on Byers. That would be unfair. Play probably is an upgrade, but I think Byers will do well at Pompey, who are chasing up at the top of League One. So that could work out well both ways if either they can get a fee for him or he comes back stronger. Let me know what you think about all of those deals. That is transfer update number 7. As I say, it's 9:12 now, so if a deal goes through now, it won't be on the video. It will be on the next video. It's one of the scourges of YouTube, the where's comments or you missed out comments. Like you made a mistake automatically when maybe you didn't. But there you go. Again, also, we're not interested in speculation about fees. It's just done. I think Matt Slater is singing from the same hymn sheet as me, the athletic journalist, saying, we're just done with fees. Nobody reports them. We don't know what they are, even when they do happen. Get rid of them. Do trades, maybe. But no, there's obviously too much in it for clubs in terms of profit. But yeah, they seem to be less and less of a pertinent thing, don't they? Right, with all of that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you'll see in the advert plenty of ways you can support the channel. Patreon, though, being the key for us on the channel at the moment. Most importantly, as ever, though, is your interaction. The channel only thrives and I only get information in the main. I'm not on websites or on Twitter. I get it from subscribers and people who follow their team every single week. I say leave your bias at the door. That much is true, but I really do play into people's excellent knowledge. And please keep that happening and get your comments in. If you are familiar with any of these players or you're a fan or observer of the buying or selling club, really helps out. And I do read all the comments. It would be impossible to reply to all of them, but they pop up on my phone. I have a quick look. Sometimes I go, yeah, interesting. Sometimes I go, great insight, and reply. And sometimes I go, I'm not reading that. And sometimes, if they're particularly vexing, I do reply to them But I try not to do that. That's not good for one's mental health, which is quite the thing in 2021. Anyway, this is turning into a existential vlog, isn't it? So I'm going to shut the hell up, play the advert, and I'll see you hopefully. We'll be live today, it's Tuesday, for the preview stream. That'll be 1 p.m. And we're doing Dearly Departed. There's a full round of Premier League games as well. So plenty to do. So I'm going to hit stop and say over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.